Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, Real Live with the Real Secrets of Money with your host, myself, Damon, the agent. I thank you all for joining me each and every Friday at 12 noon. Please, if you have not, please follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, and did I mention LinkedIn? I believe so. But I want to thank you. So, as always, I like to get into the wonderful world of real estate. Now, my topic today is try real estate. And what do you mean by that? What I basically mean is throughout the years, I've heard many people say, I want to try real estate. I want to get into real estate. Real estate is something. People always say, oh, that looks easy. I can do it too. The truth is, when people say, I want to try real estate is going to try you. The reason real estate tries people is people don't understand that you have to have a certain skill set to be an exceptional real estate professional. You have to have negotiation skills. You have to have knowledge, know-how. You have to have people skills, believe it or not, unless you're working behind the scenes. And in many cases, over the years, you gain experience. But it's not always what HGTV makes it cracked up to be, or when you see people just stand and they just holding their sold sign. It's not always as simple as that. There's a lot of things that go behind it. Think about this. When the market is hot, you have thousands of realtors from everywhere. Everybody sells real estate. I got my real estate license. Just like we also know somebody who used to sell real estate. Why aren't they still selling real estate? Unless they've been doing it for so many years that they're retired, that's different. But if they got into it, why aren't they selling it? Many times I've heard the excuse, oh, I put my real estate license into referral status. And that's true. But the reason why many of them do it is because they're not selling any houses. Because if you are selling houses, you're not going to put your license into real estate status. Why do they really do so? They did so because, unfortunately, they didn't have the skills to persevere. They didn't have the drive. Like, there's 1,000 real estate agents, just like there are 1,000 hairdressers, 1,000 barbers, 1,000 people who drive trucks, 1,000 everything. You know, in this business, only the strong survive, but not just the strong, the one that has the skills to pay the bills and know exactly what they're doing. Now, I always say this because there are people who used to do real estate. I used to sell this, and it goes back to the Glengarry movie. If anyone's ever saw the Glengarry, so check it out and everything. Say you call yourself a salesman, coffees are for closers. And I just say that to say that even in this profession that I've been in for nearly 20 years, I've run across many real estate professionals. And I wonder, how do they even have a license? How do they even have clients? What do they, I wonder, because based off the conversation, it makes me really wonder. Like, and I think about all the people who say, I'm going to try to do real estate. You're going to try to do real estate? No, real estate's going to try you. That's the reason why so many people are not in it, because they realize when it's hot, oh yeah, it's clients, it's coming like that. But when it slows, where the business at, y'all? Where is it? You know where the business is? It's always in your head. See, everything begins and ends in your head. I don't care what it is that you do. Everything starts in your head. What you attract, who you attract, what you do, what you don't do. It's all in your head, y'all. So when people say, oh, I want to try real estate, no, the truth is real estate's going to try you. That's why you see so many people who drop out from being real estate professionals. You know why? Because they don't have the skills. And don't say, oh, the market this, the market's that, because this is what I always talk about when it pertains to market and even the economy. When the market is booming, guess what? It's not busy for everyone. When the market is slow, guess what? It's not slow for everyone. Same thing with the economy. When the economy is thriving, guess what? There's still people who are struggling in a thriving economy. And when we're in a recession, there's still people who are thriving in a recession. Everything doesn't apply to everybody. But if you listen to everything that everyone says, then of course you will be, brainwashed to what you hear. That's one of the reasons I don't watch the media. I don't watch the news. I rarely look at the news, y'all, because it's so much negativity and they want to keep you glued to the TV. You ever thought about when the weather comes on, they always say storm watch? We're tracking the latest storm. How often does it storm though throughout the year, throughout the day? It rarely does. I've been in a hurricane before. Okay, I was in Hurricane Andrew in 1992. So them saying storm don't fade me. But they'll say, oh, we're tracking the latest storm because they want you to be on edge and watching them all the time and everything. It's to get you in, to get ratings, to get, that's why I don't look at them at all. Unless I choose to, which is very few and everything. But to those people who say you want to try real estate, understand real estate's going to try you. Now, I'm not saying that for those that it won't be a great career, because there are people who start into real estate at all ages, different careers, and many people thrive. Many people do well. Many people make a lot of money and everything. But understand that those people are still tried. But throughout them being tried, they persevere, they keep going. That's why some people like myself, we're still in this business. You think it's always easy? No, you'll see me holding a sold sign. And of course, my motto is every house I touch turns to sold. But truth be told and everything, there are many clients that I don't like. And many clients I've had who don't like me. And many real estate professionals that I don't like. And the same thing with me. It's just called the law of the world. It's like when you're in school. No matter how popular you are, there's always going to be somebody who don't like you. No matter how smart you are, there's always going to be someone who don't like you. No matter how good you are, how bad you are, that's just life, y'all. But you got to understand that if you want to try real estate, just keep in mind real estate's going to try you. So don't think you're just going to come in, you're just going to start making money right away, because that doesn't apply to everyone. Matter of fact, that applies to very few people, very few. And I know everybody like to think they special, but let's be honest. Most people ain't special. You're only special to your parents, maybe to your spouse, maybe to your kids, but everyone is not special. Strangers don't know you. That's why when people talk about the value of who they are and stuff like that, yeah, to you, but strangers don't know you. So therefore, you're not worth anything until someone really knows you. So keep in mind, real estate is a great career to come into, but it is going to try you. It's not as simple as easy as you people seeing holding the soul sign. It's not as old, you just showing houses and stuff. No, that's the easy part. The hard part is when you got to negotiate things. My house has been sitting on the market for a while and you're trying to find a buyer for it. When you have an unreasonable buyer who didn't watch HGTV and been on Zillow and listened to their a plumber uncle who used to sell real estate giving advice from 2005 and it's 2025. The real challenge is educating them what's going on right now. So sometimes they don't think you don't know what you're doing, so they rather go to someone else. And a lot of times they'll find out the person that they go to haven't given them as much information as you have, but pride won't let them come back to you, because there's a lot of prideful people out there. So when people say, hey, I want to try real estate, the truth of the matter is real estate is going to try you. I'll be right back. All right. Thank you for joining me. Please follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Pinterest, TikTok, and Snapchat. I'm on all of them /Damon the Agent. So I want to go into my Q&A today. Now, I understand I was supposed to have a guest, but it seems like there's a bug going around and a lot of people are becoming sick and ill. So unfortunately, today's guest couldn't be here, but hopefully next week she's able to be here. And I just want to say get well soon to each and everyone who keeps on encountering all these things and keep making them sick. Because last week, y'all, when I got off the podcast, I came down with some type of 24 bug myself. I don't know what's going around, but I just want to share that with you. Now, my Q&As, which is my questions, and I have the answers. The first one is, are there any risk as a seller or buyer in this current market? Are there any risk as a seller or buyer in this current market? This is a great question. Now, let me explain. There are always risks, whether you're buying or selling real estate. When you sell real estate, the risk that you may encounter is you may not get the price that you want for the house. You may get a buyer that's totally unreasonable. And for buyers, you may get a high interest rate right now, and especially if you're selling the house that you got a low interest rate on years ago. Now you're coming back into the market to buy another one. So you're risk giving up that low interest rate that you got a few years ago for the current interest rate today, which is more than double the one from years ago. So yes, there are risks to sellers and buyers in this current market. And also right now with the things have been going as far as the Trump administration has been laying off a lot of people, it has been causing a lot of domino effect as far as people either selling their house because they've lost their job and they can no longer afford the mortgage payment, or they're going to relocate because they lost their job and they don't want to be in the area anymore. And then when it pertains to buyers, yes, because it depends on where you're actually buying. So you're in competition for some of the better homes as far as the risks are concerned. So yes, there are risks to both sellers and buyers. Someone said, can you share a crazy or unexpected real estate deal story? I'm trying to see if I have enough time. An unexpected, crazy, or real estate deal. I'll give a crazy story and a deal real quick. Okay. Crazy story is back in, I think it was 2011. Back in 2011. Now today, home, new construction, that stays. They got furniture on it. Back then in 2011, a lot of new construction did not have furniture in them. They were not stays like they are today. I remember having a client one time, and I had a clipboard in my hand. I was looking at the clipboard. The house was completely vacant. And this client, it was a lady. She was an attractive young lady. She walked past me and brushed up against me and then looked at me in a seductive manner. And I looked at her and I thought all this room around here. Then I realized she was kind of coming on to me. So my next response was, if you have any more questions, I'll be outside. See, me personally, I've never engaged with any of my clients, not one. You can check my record, not one, no matter how attractive, because I've always preferred cash over ass, period. So it was a crazy story because if I was one of those real estate professionals who was unprofessional, things could have led to other things, but I didn't let it do that because people are going to try you in many ways. Yeah, I mean, even real estate professionals have tried me. And let me see, unexpected real estate deal story. With the deals, it's so much that goes on in these deals that I can't even begin to fathom. Like, I'm trying to think a crazy or unexpected real estate deal story. I'm trying to think of one that's kind of short. Listen, I'm gonna have to probably try to come back to that because I have a couple of more questions. So the other question is, what trends are shaping the real estate industry right now? What trends are shaping the real estate industry right now? Well, I briefly touched on it when I mentioned about the Trump administration. By him giving a lot of layoffs, it's affecting the real estate and it's shaping the real estate market because it is causing some people to put their house on the market because they feel like, well, I don't have a job, I can't afford the mortgage payment. So it's starting to shape up from we were a seller's market to we're shifting over to a buyer's market. A buyer's market means when there are more houses than there are buyers. It means the buyers have the upper hand. A seller market meaning when there are more buyers than houses. Hold up. I'm confusing myself. A seller's market is when basically there's less houses than they are buyers. I mean, there are more buyers than there are houses because buyers are competing over. A buyer's market is when there are more houses than there actually are buyers. So buyers have more options to choose from. So the trend that's shaping is the economy. The economy is having an effect right now on the housing market as far as whether it's a buyer's or seller's market, but in many cases it's shifting over to a buyer market, and also with many sellers wanting to sell their home. So it really depends on the area, but in specifically this area, that is what's becoming the latest real estate trend at this moment. And another question is, what's the biggest mistake agents make when trying to close a deal? What's the biggest mistake agents make when trying to close a deal? I can say the biggest mistake is agents being focused on their commission rather than focused on their client. I think a lot of times they don't listen to what their clients' needs are. They're not personable. They're only thinking about getting paid, and they're not thinking about servicing their client and doing their their due diligence and their fiduciary duty as far as their client is concerned. So I think the biggest mistake is they are focused on the wrong thing. That's just my professional opinion. Now, many people can say other things, but I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. I think another big mistake that agents make is they don't have very good communications with their clients, whether that's during the transaction or after the transaction. Many clients don't always have good communication, and sometimes it's hard to have communication with some clients who doesn't matter if you call, email, or text them, they don't respond. You know, some people are like that. A lot of times you have to communicate to people based off how they want to be communicated. Some people only want a text message. Some people only want to check their email. Some people want a phone call. So one of the biggest mistakes is basically not communicating with clients based off how they like to communicate. And that's how sometimes things can be miscommunicated or misconstrued, because if somebody is emailing a client who rarely checks email, who gets over 100 emails like myself, I get in a day over 100 emails a day. So it can easily miss things. I always tell people, for me, the best communication is to call or text me. If you call me and I don't pick up, text me. That's for me, but I can't speak for everyone because everyone is different. So communication seems to be the biggest when it pertains to agents and a deal. So let me go back to a crazy or unexpected real estate deal. One of the a deal that I had a couple of years ago was I had a seller who wanted to sell her house. Now in DC, most people think their house is worth $1 million plus, because if a house sold across the street for 1.3 million, people would say, "Oh, well, my house got to be at least worth $1 million," even though their house been ragged, run down, raggedy, and needs a lot of work. They don't take the work into consideration for some reason, because they go on Zillow and they look at the zip code. So if the zip code is 20011 and they say, "Oh, this is the average price of this zip code," people think that average price they see, they think that applies to their home, when it really doesn't. Like, for example, if a house sold for 1.3 million and then another house that needed work sold for 500,000, that would make the average price what, like 900,000, right? Something around there. But people who houses, let's say at that 500,000, they'll see that average 900,000 and think it applies to their house. Well, I had a client similar to that. Her house was raggedy, run down, house across the street on the market for 900. She think her house worth 900, and her house needs to be completed, gutted out. So over time, I kept explaining, listen, the prices dropped down here, 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 here. You need to put your house on it at this price. Didn't want to listen to me. Didn't want to listen to me. They end up doing a short sale on the house, and didn't even do a short sale with me, which I would have did a short sale for. So the crazy part was, when you try to advise people, sometimes they think they know it all when they really didn't know it all. And sometimes being a know-it-all is going to actually cost you money, whether you realize it or not. I think a lot of times when we're in this profession and we have been here for years, we know the ins and outs, the trends, what's going, what's not. But people tend to think because they go on Google and they go on Zillow that they got all the information. What they fail to realize is they have limited information compared to us as the professional. Because as professionals, we have to pay an annual due to the real estate board. We have to pay quarterly dues to the MLS. Do you think they are going to give you all the information that we are actually paying for and providing? They're not. Just like every house you see on Zillow, every house you see on Redfin has been entered into the MLS by a real estate professional, the MLS system that we pay for. So you're not going to get all the information. That's why that information on their website is not in real time. A lot of times they keep the better homes on there that brings them the most traffic, because they have advertisers on there and stuff. So they're trying to get you to come on there and stuff, because the advertisers got to be seen. So a lot of times people don't even understand that. Just wanted to share that with you. Listen, I appreciate the Q&A. Please always keep them coming. I'm about to come to my topic of the day. All right. Thank you for joining me as always. Now, my topic of today, guess what it's called, y'all? I know many of y'all heard this. It's called the dating pool. Oh my goodness. I hate this. I'm sorry. Hold on. The dating pool. Did I put that there? I'm sorry. I was trying to put that here. The dating pool, y'all. That is my topic of the day. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this subject was because I hear people say the dating pool has piss, trash, all this stuff in it. And when I hear people say this, I'm saying to myself, aren't you in the dating pool? Like, aren't you there? So you must be the piss, the trash, and all this other stuff too, because you're no exception. The problem is people think they're so great and they're so good, and everything applies to everyone except them. But to be truthfully, it applies to you too. Yes, there are piss poor people in the world. There are trash in the world, but that goes to you too. Like there are a lot of men who are over the age of 30, still living at home, over the age of 40, still living at home, over the age of 50, still living at home, or had never lived on their own. So they're living with a woman who they give their money to the woman, and the woman pays all the bills, things of that nature. They're not independent. They can't do anything on their own. So they have to live with a woman. Yes, you got some bums out there, but then you have some great men too who are very independent, who could do everything on their own. And the only thing they look for in a spouse or a woman is how can you add to them? And the same thing with some women. You have some women who got kids and they get their money through however, and they're not good mothers and they can't live on their own and they're not good with credit and they're not good and they think their beauty and their booty is all they got to show up with because somewhere down the line, some man told them that. You have terrible people in the world on all aspects, but you also have great people as well too. Listen, it always bothered me when people always want to call the pot want to call the kettle black. So when I hear people say the dating pool is trash, I be thinking to myself, you trash because you in the dating pool. Because for you to even be in the pool, how you gonna say what's in it when you're in the pool? So you are wherever you at. It's just like if you hang with a certain amount of people, even if you don't do nothing, if you got 5 friends and they all crooks, and you're not a crook, you're gonna be associated as a crook because you're with those 5 friends who are crook. If you got 5 successful friends and you can be broke and everything, but you're around those 5 friends, people are going to assume that you're successful too. That's just how it is. So when you out there saying the dating pool is trash, the dating pool, guess what? You trash too. Stop saying that. Stop saying that because you're making yourself look bad. So when people be like, the dating pool, you're talking about yourself. And what makes you so great out of all the people in the pool? What? Nothing. Nothing makes you great. So everybody think they special, but you're not. Until someone knows you or knows who you are, you're not. Regardless of what you have going on in your head, you might think you're this exceptional person. You're not. It's like when Michael Jordan played basketball. Nobody knew how great he was by looking at him. It's not till they saw him that they said, "Oh, he's different. He's special." No one knows how great you are until they know who you are. You may think, oh, well, if you don't know, you know what I'm saying? And guess what? You're going to be by yourself. You know what I'm saying? I saw something today that made a lot of sense. It said, it was a quote of a woman and a quote of a man. And it said, a woman intuition is always right. And the other comment was, for all these single women, something must not be right. And I only say that to say that stop thinking that you are so special and you're so different because nobody knows you. You understand? Like you're not great. You're only great to the people who do know you, the people around, the people that you influence. That's who you're great to. No one would never know your worth, assuming that you are. You feel like, oh, I'm not. I did something for somebody else before, so I'm not gonna do it for this person. Guess what? They'll never know how great you are. They'll never know how great you are. No matter how good you was, no one, they'll never know how great you are because you holding back thinking that you deserve something. No, you only deserve what you're given. And guess what? You're given what you show that you really are deserving of. That's just how it is. So to the people in the dating pool, y'all keep doing what you do. To the people who want to be critical of the people in the dating pool, you're criticizing yourself for real. You really are. It's like whatever nationality you are, and then you hating on your own people. Same thing when the dating pool. If the pool is dirty, then you dirty. If the pool stink, then you stink. If there's no good quality in the pool, guess what? You ain't of good quality either. Ain't nothing special about you. So when I see the Dayton pool stinks, the Dayton pool got trashed in and up, guess what? You trash. That's exactly how you trash. So, and I can really care less as far as, you know what I'm saying, because that's just how I see it. And whether you realize it or not, that's how people see you. They just ain't telling you. I'm telling you, when you comment on the dating pool, you comment on yourself. You some trash. Plain and simple. So accept it for what it is, because they ain't gonna say that. They're just gonna let you talk. Yeah, girl, yup, you right. Meanwhile, they're gonna go gossip about you behind your back to somebody else. Come on, girl, you heard such and such talking about that. She just mad because, you know what I'm saying, such and such chose somebody else. You know how y'all do. And I'm just telling you, stop being critical of certain things. If you don't like it, don't be there. You know, it's like if you don't like hockey, don't go to a hockey game. You know what I'm saying? Why are you there? You don't like boxing, don't watch boxing. You don't like your family, why are you in the house all the time with them? You know what I'm saying? Stop being places where you're going to be critical at, you know, if you're going to talk about them all the time. So I just say that to say that we need to be critical of what we say, because a lot of times when we say certain things, it's really being said indirectly about yourself, whether it's good or bad. You know, it is what it is, people. So I just wanted to say the dating pool ain't trash from what I heard, because I'm not out there dating. I just hear things. But at the same time, I just want you to know that stop talking bad about the dating pool, because you're talking bad about you. I'll be right back with my recap, y'all. All right. Again, thank you for following me, y'all. Please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, and Pinterest. And if you have any real estate questions, please always send them to me, because I love answering all of your questions. I want to thank you always for sending me your questions. I want to thank you all for those of you who are tuning in and that continue to tune in all the time. Now, I want to do a recap. Again, I talked about try real estate. Look, there are many people who always say, I want to try real estate. But truth be told, real estate is going to try you. Keep that in mind. And I want to also talk about the dating pool. So people always like to criticize the dating pool, or what's in it, what's not in it. But you're only being critical of yourself, because if you want something different, be something different. Otherwise, everything's going to remain the same. And I also want to put my other website up here, yourwealthagentdamon.com. Please check that out for all your financial services and everything. Again, I was supposed to talk about one specific topic that I'm going to talk about next week, but also I hope that I have my guest next week in reference to the person that I'm supposed to have on, Jaquan, Jamoki. I'm sorry, Jamoki. Her name, and I might be messing up her name, so forgive me, y'all. She's going to be talking about foreclosure, trying to help and save people from foreclosure. And if you're going through foreclosure, how she can help you possibly as well too. So hopefully she's able to come on next week. But if not, hey, I'm going to improvise, and I'll have somebody else as a backup, because I need to start getting back my weekly invites, because you'll like that. Just like last week, I was told to please have Miss Denise Young come back on. So me and her are going to do a 1 hour segment that's going to be separate from this, but it will be coming on soon. So again, I'd like to thank you all for joining me each and every Friday at 12 noon. I appreciate you all. Follow me on all social media platforms, and you all have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.